William Whittier was Hemet's greatest benefactor. His wealth provided the capital to build the Lake Hemet Dam in 1893. That helped transform the Dry Valley into one of the most diverse agricultural regions in Southern California. He also built a hotel, a bank, and provided thousands of dollars to build other projects. He was determined to be the best at anything. When it was suggested that rival San Jacinto, whose leaders Whittier despised, were going to build a new horse racing track, Whittier bit. He had always loved fine trotters and harness racing. Now, he had the opportunity to develop his own stock of horses, who would be foaled, raised, and trained on 40 acres he owned in North Hemet. Like almost everything in his life, Whittier was immediately successful. Today, Whittier's Hemet Stock Farm remains. What to do with it remains an enduring question that the city of Hemet has wrestled with since nearly the day Whittier died in 1917. Along with the Lake Hemet Dam, the iconic stock farm is one of the last monuments to Whittier's great patronage of Hemet. It has decayed through years of neglect. Its newest owner believes that he, along with his father's real estate company, have the right plan for the century-old property. Scott Garrett, a former Hemet councilman, now lives on the farm, and he's also farming on it.
The tragedy would be if it were to just, well, let me take a step back and say that Hemet, unfortunately, we tend to settle for not bad as being good, as the example I gave. You know, you look at something and say, well, it's not bad. And I'm saying that shouldn't be our bar. We should raise our bar to say, well, that's really good. And we have very few examples of that. And I think, at the stock farm here, there's an opportunity to do something really good, to be able to respect the history, preserve the buildings, and so that when someone comes in here, they have a sense of what happened here, and then build a neighborhood that actually, as I said, with each addition, actually the neighborhood gets better. It's like you have a puzzle that you're putting together, and with each piece it gets better, as opposed to in a more conventional development, with each additional house, or people say, oh God, there's another house, I dread that. Well, with what we've proposed, and I have no idea whether we will be around to see if it ever happens, but what we've proposed is that with each piece it gets better. You say, oh, it keeps the puzzle gets more complete, and the vision becomes more complete, and the neighborhood becomes more complete, and it becomes a better place to live. And so that's what we're hoping to accomplish, and to have something that where when people say it, I use this example. It's like when they come through that main gate, which we in our plan is preserved. They kind of drop their shoulders and say, this is nice. We don't have that. we don't have that, and it would be nice to not only do that here, but then have the added significance and the added beauty and essence of the history that happened here.
The Temecula-based Garrett Group, which is controlled by Scott's father, Paul, has plans to develop the remaining 36 acres of the stock farm, while preserving the historical character of the farm. The new development will feature single-family homes, townhomes, and lofts. Residents can easily walk to small businesses that are part of the development. Almost all of the farm's century-old buildings, including the grandstand, will play a role in the new community. The grandstand and half-mile track were a home to harness and horse racing. Even motorcycle racing was held there before 1910, while in recent years it has been a movie set, most notably for the feature film Seabiscuit. From 1903 until 1910, Whittier poured money into the stock farm. Hemet historian Mary Whitney wrote that the Whittier estate estimated that he had invested $100,000 in the venture before his death in 1917. It did produce championship horses, including Wilbur Lew, a world record-setting trotter. Wilbur Lew was beloved by Whittier, who ordered that the horse be given his own stable. It still stands today. Now the farm is without horses, but it is a farm. Garrett, who has long farmed in the valley, is now growing organic onions, squash, and garlic. He's putting much of the pasture areas into production. In the end, the future of the Hemet Stock Farm remains in doubt, but Scott Garrett, for one, is hopeful for the future.
It was like it is, you could see it was neglected, and that was a lot of years ago. It's been neglected a long time, I think me and a lot of people could always see the potential that could be here. You could see that it has a lot of potential, and it could be a special place. But I never really thought in real specific terms about what could happen here. Nothing like now that we have sat and thought about it and come up with a plan. But you just knew that it would be a tragedy if it just all disappeared and just became another block. Just something we were just talking about. I don't know. That you just forget what was here. That would be the biggest tragedy.
For the Press Enterprise and PE.com, I'm Louis Amistoy.